Hi, I'm Jerry Meints. Welcome to It's a Family Affair. We're back for our new season.
Here we are again.
Deb Meints, my co-host, co-facilitator, co-therapist, wife. Hi, Deb.
Hi.
Ready to do this show, huh?
Let's go. Let's just do it.
You know, we're doing a show today called The Power of Friendship.
Yes.
And some people might say, well, why? You know, in today's fast-paced world, most people don't have time for friends.
And that's why we're doing the show. Because those of you who might be familiar with Thomas More, who wrote Care of the Soul, he's right on when he says, next to family, the most important need of the soul is to have friends. And we're looking at ancient life where friendship was built into the system in village life. And it was because we were dependent on the land. We were outdoors most of the time, and we were harvesting our crops. We were out hunting. We were out gathering, and there was a lot of rituals and celebrations. So we were with each other all the time in a friendship way.
So in ancient civilization, friendships were much more important and meaningful and prevalent than they are today.
They were evident, essential, and everyday. The 3 E's. People had the ability to share their sorrows with one another and their joys.
Mm-hmm.
The rhythms of the seasons were celebrated. That means that while we still have holidays, they celebrated. It wasn't like you take your SUV and go down to Walmart and buy everything out of the market by yourself to impress your friends in your independent little house.
Okay.
Everybody got together, and it wasn't incumbent on any one person to pull this whole thing off. Mm-hmm. Everybody brought something to the party, so no one person became codependent and overwhelmed. So ritual would mean that together we would build the community altar to celebrate many things throughout the year. I mean, if they weren't talking about a ritual, they were making a ritual. Mm-hmm. And planning a new one.
On these holy days, these holidays.
Right, yeah. And celebrations of many things. And also whenever there was a death, the whole village would turn out. Mm-hmm. Because let's face it, you're all related to each other in some way in a village atmosphere, in a tribal atmosphere. Mm-hmm. That the person that has passed on is a brother to you, is a cousin to you, is somehow related because you're relating every single day, so everybody's hurting. It's not just an isolated group, and then you go back into this larger city life where some people are grieving and some people aren't. You got to act like a normal. In ancient civilization, everybody was going through the same things at the same time.
Yeah, you know, life was much simpler then. Everybody had a task and a role, and sometimes even a last name to reflect that role. You know,
or a first name.
Miller.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The idea that what you did was associated with who you were, and that also it wasn't so much about individuality. It was how you wove yourself into the community. What your need was. There was a certain joy in being nobody doing nothing. Mm-hmm. In a sense, that you were nobody special. You didn't carry the burden of being an individual and being somebody, but that you were part of the fabric of that community. And in this way, our modern culture, there's so much on being somebody, mm-hmm. and it's so much different than ancient life, where you were just one of the group, and just by being born, you were a friend. Mm-hmm. And just mm-hmm. by being part of the village life, you were considered a friend. The Quakers called themselves friends.
Sure. Now, when modern culture evolved, there was an incredible urban migration from mm-hmm.
The
rural areas to urban centers for jobs. A lot of the
industrialization,
serfdom, mm-hmm. and the sort of the systems that used to work out on the the country manors no longer flourished.
That's right.
And industrialization, urbanization, all of which led really to a phenomenon of urban orphans, because
That's
people left their
yeah.
extended
mm-hmm.
family.
Mm-hmm. It's a good
they
way to
left
put it. Mm-hmm.
The homestead, so to speak.
Well, individuality is a mixed bag. It's great in the beginning when you leave home and you say, mm-hmm. goodbye, sucker, and you drive, you can hear that screeching wheels going down
right.
the pavement.
It's like a teenager leaving home.
Exactly.
Right.
We all want to get out and make our own way. When it gets hard is when we need a support system. Mm-hmm. Village life has built-in support systems.
Right, and the price we pay with urbanization and modern city life is isolation and alienation.
That's right.
There's a loneliness that people never experienced heretofore. And of course, their challenge is as always, to recreate family, to recreate a friendship network.
And it can be hard to do because there can be crisis around getting support. Most of us spend a large portion of our day getting in a car, going somewhere, spending time out with people that we're helping, and then going home. And unless your parents live nearby or you have an extended network of helpers, if your child gets sick or if your spouse gets sick, or heaven forbid, if you get sick, who's going to pick up your slack?
You know, I worked with a family last year that was in just exactly this set of circumstances, and they'd been in Los Angeles all their life. They had all their family and friends and support systems, and doctors and attorneys and accountants and everybody that helped support their life. And like so many people who moved to a resort area, like the Palm Springs area, to retire, they left it all behind. And they came here, and all of a sudden, these crises began to occur, and they needed doctors and attorneys and accountants, and they needed a friendship network, and they had nothing. And it's because they didn't do the work in the first year of their arrival here in this new territory to create and recreate some of those support systems.
It takes a long time. I lived out here 10 years before I really developed what I'd call true friendships. And like a lot of women, I didn't realize I needed true friendships. I was so busy, trying to get my ducks in a row, take care of the kids, take care of the house, take care of work.
Finish your master's degree.
But yeah, it was really hard to think about having the energy to go out there and make friends. And we're going to address how to make friends in modern culture, because it's a lot harder. It's there's so much emphasis on production and competition and just keeping up with everything that so often friendships are the last thing we think about. Where in high school and college, these were central. Friendship changes when you get married, and you may have a loose network of people that your kids go to school with, but they aren't necessarily there for you in a crisis. Your family doctor isn't necessarily there for you to, watch your dog and water your plants and stay home with your child. Your accountant isn't going to do that. The lawyer isn't going to do that. Friends are the ones that bring the casseroles, the soup and the bandages, the sympathy. They provide free services. We give these to one another, and if we haven't taken the time to establish friendships, we'll be doing fine until reality happens.
And a lot of people who had easy friendships back home or before they left the hinterlands to migrate or to retire, when they get here, that difficulty that they find is in large part connected to what you alluded to earlier, and that's this competition thing people find themselves in. So when it's competition, people tend to forget humanity and brotherhood and all the things
comradeship
that are so necessary, and they tend to look at people in one of the following three ways: competition, makeable, or irrelevant.
Right.
And
you want to talk about what that means?
Oh, that's scary. Competition is obvious. Dog eat dog. If I don't stay one step ahead of you, you're going to trample on me. Makeable, that's about conquest, and that's about
seduction and conquest, so I can get ahead.
Right. And then irrelevant. I can't gain anything from a relationship with you, so as a result, I'm going to ignore you.
And that's what happens as we get older. We can be seen as irrelevant in a production-oriented society, because if we aren't in the workplace, in the marketplace, so often our elders are pushed aside. Now, in ancient village life, when you got older, you got more benefits. And the benefit,
more respect.
Well, that's the benefit I'm talking about. That you were seen as having a vital and central role. Not only just child care, but that younger people would come to you and say, you've walked this walk. Tell us about it. So the wise people and the elders were held in reverence. Rather than being put in a home or a facility, they were seen as the greatest treasures of the community.
There's an attempt these days to resurrect that concept with a lot of mentoring programs.
Which are wonderful.
Business leaders that come in and show young people how to get their new businesses off the ground. And,
that's a very positive
Big
movement.
Brothers and other forms of mentoring programs. Well, the alternative in this vacuum of not having friends, moving to a new location, a lot of people pick up on virtual friendships.
Yeah, virtual friendship. We were laughing about this because we used to say, these are our TV family,
Yeah.
But where's your TV family, when your plumbing breaks or your kid's got the chicken pox?
Yeah.
But a lot of these shows that are such #1 hits, think about
Television shows, right.
Friends, Seinfeld, Cheers, Northern Exposure, which talked about, small village life, big cult hit. Here you've got built, these people are, most of the time when you watch like Friends, these people are sitting around with all their friends, getting off work, I guess, at the same time, having a lot of time to work. Nobody seems to have a deadline. And they seem, all minty fresh, and they're all dressed in the latest styles, and they're clever. And this is something I think we idealize, that we would have this time to, like at the turn of the century, to really, enjoy our friends, wait for the mail, discuss the latest. Most of the time, all we've got time for is instant messaging and checking our voicemail.
I know, because
so we watch our virtual friends on TV.
Right, because our lives are so full with, work and responsibilities and parenting and managing the household and, picking up the kids from school and doing the laundry and just taking care of life. And this is another reason why a lot of people lose the connection of friends in general, because they're so buried with the family responsibilities.
And just tuning out. TV, I love TV. Don't get me wrong, I love TV. But when TV takes the place of vitality.
Or real people.
And real people. It's like that movie Being There with Chauncey Gardner. Do you remember that? Peter Sellers played this guy that when they turned off the TV, he took the remote out into the community he lived in, and when some gang members came up, he tried to change the channel. Okay. He couldn't distinguish anymore between reality and virtuality. And this can happen in our culture in more subtle ways, that we just come home from work and we just hit that box. And what that box does, in some good ways, it puts us into alpha waves, which are very relaxing waves. We're not really having to think very much, and we're able to let go of the stresses and laugh, so that, thank God for TV. But if we over-rely on it, if we do it every single night of the week, what happens is suddenly your wife is saying, I'm leaving.
Okay.
Harry Chapin starts playing that famous song, The Cat's in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, Little Boy Blue and the Man in the Moon, Where are you going now? Where are you going now, son? I don't know when. We'll get together then. Yeah. All of a sudden your life is gone. You've alienated yourself. Your life is about work. Heaven forbid anything go wrong there, because you've got your TV family who doesn't give a hoot, your wife or husband who's alienated from you, and your kids who are busy watching their own little sets in their room, and nobody's mixing it up with each other. There's not even friendship in the family. It's funny, but now like the Osbournes, that show, it's, okay, this is the #1 show in America, and it's about
That's
a
really
family.
Scary, ladies and gentlemen.
It's about a family who's hanging out with their dogs. I mean, there isn't all that much going on, but I think it's kind of like a Roseanne, like Roseanne type of show. I mean,
the rock world, right?
Yeah, the family just hanging out with their dogs, pooping on the carpet, and this has become this amazingly popular show because we just want to look inside and say, wow, this family's actually talking to each other, and they're getting joy out of their pets. And what is that? I mean, are we getting joy out of our families? Are we talking with one another at the dinner table? Are we inviting friends over for dinner? Or is it all a virtual situation where the Osbournes, I mean, if you go up to Ozzy Osbourne on the street, I'm sorry, folks, he doesn't give a rat's tail about you. He doesn't know who you are. And as much as you want to look like that family and be like that family, they don't care. They're doing their own thing.
Deb, we're going to be back after these important messages to talk more about friendship. Yeah. And we're going to take a look at some real important facts about the benefits of friendship.
Yeah, some bennies.
We'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
With a friend at hand, you will see the light. If your friends are there, then everything's alright.
When I grow up, I want to be a psychologist or a therapist.
I want to be a pediatrician.
I was hoping to become a chef someday.
I want to own a big house with the convertible and the jacuzzi and the pool, all the good stuff.
Role models, they don't tell you what to do, but they help you to go where you're going.
I want to study law. I don't want to become a lawyer. I want to become a CIA agent. Young people, I think, do need a mentor because, we don't know everything. And, all the people, they've experienced stuff that we haven't.
I would like to be a baseball player.
As long as there's somebody behind you, pushing you and supporting you, then you feel that you always have the strength to keep going.
Well, I would like to become like a doctor. That's my first choice.
Sometimes you feel down and you feel that no one really understands and no one knows like where you're coming from, and it's great to see someone who's been where you are now and, you know, making it.
You will see the light. If your friends are there, then everything's alright. It seems
Hi, I'm Jerry Meints. Welcome back to It's a Family Affair. I'm here with my wife, Deborah Meints.
Hi.
Hey, Deb. You know, we're going to jump right back
We
into
got so much to cover.
our show,
Let's do
The
it.
Power of Friendship, and we're going to define friendship. Deb?
Well, this is from Webster's.
Cool.
One attached to another by esteem and affection, an intimate associate and supporter, which means real friends support your growth and happiness and will kick your butt if you need it.
You know, and that's real important because there has to be a balance. Otherwise, friendship can be just, you know, caretaking, codependent, you know, co-signing our BS.
Right.
You know, the other thing is that, you know, friendships also encourage and support our marriage and family.
Right.
You know, true friends, you know, female friends don't take your wife out, you know, to some disco and get her drunk and, you know, watch men strip. I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah, and the same way, true guy friends don't take the guy out to the strip club and watch other women swing and sway.
Absolutely.
I mean, and talk crud about the wife. And
Exactly.
they support you in your growth, and they have a higher view, and they're esteemed. Esteem means higher view.
Right, and you see the bumper stickers that refer to themes like this, and one is, you know, friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Right.
And friends don't let friends have affairs. And friends don't
haven't
let
seen that one.
friends abuse people. These are new bumper stickers. We'll be
Jerry's going
releasing
into the
until
bumper
it
sticker
sounds like-
business. These are really good. And friends don't talk crap about you.
That's
really
right.
important. Okay. We want to also talk about temperament and friendship because we've referred to temperament in other shows. About 80% of the population is sensate population, and that means
Meaning they're oriented to the world through their five senses rather than their intuition.
right.
So they're concrete, they're realistic, they're empirical. They see things that are real, things they can add up, subtract, and fix.
right. And when
And those sensates,
well, when sensate friendships, if you were a sensate, you won't need me to tell you this, but you tend to get together because you have a common interest. You're a task mate. And, you know, it's great to serve on the PTA together. It's great to golf together. It's great to knit a quilt together. It'll be more handiwork type of stuff and practical stuff. Now, the other 20% of the audience that's maybe watching this show is what we call the intuitive camp. And when they look for friendship, they're looking for something quite different.
and by intuitive, we mean they don't see the world through their five senses. They see the
Solely.
world through their sixth sense, their intuition. So they know things about people and about the future and the past that they don't know how they know, but they do.
And when an intuitive feeler, an intuitive person with a strong feeling component looks for a friend, they look for a soulmate. They're not just looking for someone to finish a task with them or serve on a committee. They're looking for someone to share deeply from the heart about, you know, the deepest questions of living, dying, meaning. And a lot of times in my caseload, I see a lot of intuitive feelers, and they feel quite isolated. Like they can get along with the sensate crowd, but they feel a little bit like they're one step back. Like, are all we going to talk about is textiles? You know, I want to get into something deeper.
Right. And the intuitive thinkers are more into having mind mates, that
Right.
intellectual connection that's so important. So let's recap. In terms of the way we talk about it in our new book, you know, Love Tools for Everyday Heroes, it's really the horse you rode in on. If you rode in on a pack horse, then you're a sensate judger and you're interested in a task mate. If you rode in on a wild Mustang,
Temperament-wise.
exactly, you're interested in, and these are sensate perceivers, you're interested in playmates.
Going to the
And
rodeo.
As you alluded to earlier, like you, Deborah, a unicorn, the horse you rode in on, an intuitive feeler, interested
Mystical,
in
magical.
soul mates. And then finally, folks with my temperament, the riding a Pegasus, are interested in those mind mates.
That's right.
So there
And-
it is.
And
Those
your
are the
temperament
differences.
doesn't need as many friends as you need people who get you on a mind level.
Yeah.
My temperament, being an intuitive feeler, really needs people to vibe with me. And for a lot of women, they think their husband's going to be the be-all, end-all, and he's going to meet all those friendship needs. I don't care what your temperament. He's just a man. Do not
Right.
try to put everything into him.
Get a
because you're going to
girlfriend.
end up hitting him with the big dunda. You're going to be so mad at him because he's just not a woman.
Yeah.
And women need women to hang with.
Yeah.
And he'll be happier with you, not if you take your disco friends and go down to Zelda's and get it on, but if you find deep girlfriends who support your life, who are on a higher path, higher view. And this where 12-step, by the way, is a wonderful way to make friends.
And
because
also spiritual pathways and
spiritual
pursuits.
We're going to talk about that a little bit later,
There it
but
All right.
you know, choose high.
Let's
with your
get
friends.
to now, Deb, some
These are the cool
interesting facts about friendship.
Yeah, and I ripped this off from a really good book called Friendships. Friendships by Jan Yeager, and I love this. This was in Reader's Digest, and they packaged material really good, and I loved it. I was laying on the beach, reading the magazine. I said, "This is our next show, Jerry." So
Cool.
here we are. So let's take turns. I'll read one, you read another, and these
All
are
right.
groovy little facts about friendship.
All right, you go with the first.
Okay, friendship boosts your chance of surviving life-threatening illness. Well, why is that, Deborah? Well, according to Yale University's study of 194 heart attack patients, those with emotional support were more likely to be alive 6 months after their heart attack.
This is good. This is good.
Yeah, and this is from Yale University, so
All
it's
right.
not me just making it
You know,
up.
there's another study that indicates that friendship also creates a stronger, more resilient immune system.
Right.
Similar kind of an argument. And it's a Carnegie Mellon University study where there were 276 volunteers and they were given cold drip viruses.
That sounds gross. Cold drip viruses.
Yeah, really. They just hooked me up with some virus.
Yeah, who would
here.
volunteer
Right.
for this study? But
Well, it's a group of masochists.
I guess so. They got paid well.
No, they paid them, right. In any case, the finding was that those with friends had 1/4 chance of catching a cold. Whereas,
1/4. That 3/4 of these people that had this stuff dripped into them.
that had friends didn't catch colds.
Yeah, and this is a show we did on Body Talk. When we are emotionally upset, what basically happens, our mucous membranes get really sticky, and they attract bacteria, and we get really acidic, and that creates an environment for, well, your body's trying to fight that off, but you get a sore throat, and you get scratchy, itchy, rashy. Having good friends can keep you chilled out. That's what this
amazing.
this
Isn't it great?
fact is about. And
All right, what
also,
about the
Alzheimer's
Alzheimer's?
caregivers with friends have stronger immune systems. And that's any of you who are out there taking care of somebody who has a life-threatening disease. I know this having gone through it myself. My friends were there to lean on when I needed a break, when I needed someone to bring up food, or when I needed someone to take me out to lunch or rub my shoulders. My friends were there, in addition to my family.
Let's talk about mental health, Deborah.
Okay, friendship improves mental health. Now, I know this for a fact because of my own mental health being improved by having the most wonderful friends in the world.
Yeah, you have some great.
But I also know that with my caseload, the people I see that have friends, they have such a better chance of getting well in therapy because their friends kicked their butt and got them into therapy 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And then when they come out glowing from their first session, say, I learned this and I learned that, they have someone to share it with. But in addition, for those of you who are skeptical, there is a Swedish study of 1,200 elderly people, and those with friends were 40% less likely to suffer from dementia. And there's study after study that this can keep your brain alive, keep you thinking. I know my friends make me stretch with their interests and what they're talking about. They stretch my mind.
And you know, a big part of that is with friendships, we get out of ourselves and get into other people.
Right.
So as a result, we have less depression, anxiety problems, and adjustment disorders.
Right, there's something to be adjusted to, and your friend's going through it too. It's really cool. If you're going through a pregnancy and you have a pregnant friend, that's a cool thing. If you're going through grief and you have a grieving friend, that's cool. Okay.
Longer life.
Longer life. Jerry, this is your turn.
Okay. Side effects of a lack of support system include stress. Secondly, racing heart, high blood pressure, muscle tension, nervous system on constant high alert, which is a fast track to burnout.
Right, you're like a cat on a screen door inside of yourself all the time, trying to be master of the universe, 10 feet tall, figure it out all by yourself.
So, reliable friends are the best medicine when trouble strikes.
That's right, and it does.
Cool.
Life is about, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So
All right, tell us
friends are there
about the
for all.
University of Pittsburgh.
Okay, the University of Pittsburgh study is very cool because I know this to be true. Just having a buddy in the room keeps your blood pressure down when you're doing a task. And I know this because I hate to fold clothes. I just hate to do laundry. I think after like 20,000 years of doing it, I'm really depressed when I stick my head in the dryer. And when I call my friend, I have a good friend, Rena, and we chat on the phone when I'm doing laundry. And it's very cool. I made it so I do the laundry when I know she's home.
That's good.
And, you know, it's all of a sudden all the socks are done. By the way, I'm not codependent. I only do my laundry. You
That's
do your
really good.
laundry.
And Zoe
the
does
kids
hers,
well,
and
she's
Zane
learning.
does his?
And with me.
All right.
Okay, and it keeps
All right.
your heart steady.
One of the most important things I want to communicate is that, gentlemen, we men out there in TV land get our emotional needs met by women. And that's a good thing.
Sometimes it is.
Okay. I think it's wonderful.
Well, it's good.
And it's good for our immune system. And
I hear the women out there groaning collectively. That's why I'm saying it's great. Men get their needs met by women, but we women are also saying, guys, get some healthy friendships.
all right, you know, next week I want you to tune in because we're going to do a show about how to make your marriage really a healthy friendship. So we're going to give some of the men next week some ideas about how to do a good job so the women won't moan and groan about this.
You, my friend, I bring you home to cave. You know,
Yeah.
that is not friend. Okay.
All right, let's talk about keeping connected in a busy world.
Okay, well, first I want to say the quality of friendship beats the quantity. So if you got one good friend, that's just better than having a bazillion little, you know, surface
Absolutely.
friends.
Okay.
How do you keep connected in a busy world? Again, Jan Yeager, Friendships, offers some wonderful advice. You can get this book at your bookstore.
There it is.
Don't feel guilty if you don't have as much time for friends. Acknowledge your life has changed. You may need to resort to email and the electronic messengers, but let your friend know you're alive and plan ahead.
Idea 2, meet a friend for coffee or take an early walk before
Or tea.
work. Yeah.
Right, I've done that too, and it's fun. Schedule regular friend time out, 1 weeknight a month to catch up. And I love this idea. It really works. Call your friends, say, can you get together one Friday night or a month and hang out with me?
There it is. Or number 4, invite a friend to share in some everyday activity. Yeah, come on over on Saturday. I'm building something.
Yeah,
Okay.
or run errands with me or go
All
to
right.
the kids' soccer game
Item
with me.
next.
Try to be, and then you be there for your friends. When they have a key event in their life, a graduation, a funeral, about mitzvah, be there or be square.
All righty. You know what? One last comment. I know we're out of time, and that is some warning signs for negative friendships.
Ay, we've all had them.
Are they users, bloodsuckers? Are they addicts?
Right.
Do they gossip? Do they malign you? Are
Yeah.
they disapproving critics?
Yeah. If
well,
you have to make you, if they try to make you like them or you have to dumb down for them, they're not your friends. You're trying too hard.
all right, Deb. We've had some fun. I'm Jerry Meints, and this is Deborah Meints, and it's been a family affair.
All right.